have a great book out. There's a lot to you. Thank you so much for coming in, and you were highly recommended by Peter McCullough. He really had a lot of great things to say about you.
Well, it's been a very interesting journey for me. I've got to know Peter, and it's an exciting journey. Now we're getting to the fun part, because for the last 2.5, 3 years, people have been looking at me and going, "Well, he makes a lot of what he says makes sense, but it's a bit way out there." I grew up. You've read my story. I grew up questioning things, and I think that's a good thing to do. And I was speaking to the driver on the way up here about common sense. Some things, you just look at them. The way I opened him up on the way here, just talking to him, was asking him about asymptomatic. If you've got a cold, you've got a cold. What about if you test positive for a cold and you haven't got a cold? You're asymptomatic. I said, I can't understand how anybody with a brain cell fell for that.
Well, you know what I think it was is that the media just constantly pounds it down. Just like if I tell you this is black enough, and you're, say, 18 years old, 25, this is black, eventually you're going to think that's black or red or whatever color. So, and then you have social media playing along with it all, going with it. So everywhere, figure ages between 21 and 40, if not older, any platform they're going to go to is, this is asymptomatic. This is asymptomatic. So they don't know any other way to believe. And I think a big problem is people aren't thinking for themselves. They want to be told what to do. And that's what I've been seeing. You know, people want to go to the doctor, here, take this and leave, instead of, okay, let me see what that is. Let me do a little bit of 10-minute research on my own before anything, not just this stuff in general, but just people have been accustomed to being, do this, do that, do this.
It is, and you hit on another word. The two words that have been changed in my lifetime: sick, which used to mean when you were not well, now means really good, and wicked, which used to mean really bad. And this is how they keep pumping out this thing that something is something that it's not. And that's where common sense comes in. And when I started this journey, most of my audience, I'd say 90%, were women, because they have common sense.
Wow, 90% women.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's tough.
Yeah. Now I would say I'm about 75% women. I'm glad that the men are waking up. But in the old days, the men used to go to the pub and get pissed and talk shit. I was one of them.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
We all were.
Exactly. You go down there and just talk absolute rubbish, where women have this sixth sense. My wife, Turkish, Muslim, and she can walk past somebody, and without even talking to them, she can tell you if they're a good person or a bad person by their vibration, by their aura, by who they are. And I saw it last night when I had dinner with Donald Trump. There's an aura about him. There's an aura about Melania. Also, his daughter was there, Ivanka, and her husband, Jared Kushner.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
Smart guy.
Well, when he walked in, I thought it was a boy. He looks like a boy. And then I was like, oh, hang on, that's Jared Kushner. The moment he put his arm around Ivanka, I realised that was,
okay, that's it.
That's who he is.
I'll tell you what, I learned the hard way. Women do have that sixth sense.
They do.
I learned it the hard way many times. Yeah. And finally I said, you know what? Nope, they know. You're
they
dead.
Do. My wife often reminds me, she said, I'm always right. And I said, you drive me mad. You drive me mad when you say that. But on the odd occasion where I'm right, and I've just been right with her on one thing recently.
What's your odds, Charlie? What's your odds of being right?
1 in 100. I mean, 1%. She's more often than not right, and I've learned that learn to respect our women. This is what this fight is about, respecting our women and looking after our children, which is something that's been left behind over the last 20 years by the educational system. And by the way, that people don't even know if they're a man or a woman. I come from the school that if you drop your trousers and you've got one, you're a man. And if you haven't got one, you're a woman. That simple. The fact you might feel like a woman, I don't give a what you feel like.
Did you see What's a Woman by, I forget his name, Walsh is his last name. They took it off everything. It's still on. You got to go through his website. He was just on Rogan, and he did a whole documentary on it. And he went and talked to these teachers, left and right, left and right. At 5, 6 years old, 10, 9, it's unbelievable.
It is.
And they actually think it's okay.
I know. That's the sad part about it.
And the sickest part about it is when he's going on these interviews, they know this is going to go somewhere, and they are just talking about it like we're talking about sparkling water and a Monster drink.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing.
And this is what we're standing up against. And we've allowed it to happen. And so it's an awful lot harder for us now to get it back where we should never have let it happen in the first place. But we can't change what's happened in the past. What we can change about is today. The trouble is there's a lot of damage been done to a generation of people. I have my second-born son who refuses to talk to me. We fell out over a discussion where he claimed that being gay was normal. And my daughter's gay. And I said, being gay is not normal. What it is acceptable but not normal. And I accept my daughter, I accept her choices, but it's not normal. And he said, unless you can see it as normal, I'm not prepared to talk to you. And this is their mindset. So I actually did some research on the word normal. I did 100 hours of research into what the word normal means. And if you break it down, it comes to the rule of 62. So if 62% of the world do something in law, it becomes normal in law. So having established what was the norm or the normal at 62%, I then went about finding out what percentage of the world's population were gay, feeling very confident that it was less than 62%. It was 1.8%.
Wow.
1.8% of the world's population are gay. There's a further 0.4% who haven't got a clue what they are. So we give them the benefit of a doubt and we go up to 2.2%. They're still 60% off normal.
Now, you've been to a lot of countries, and we'll get into all of that. The countries that are more like U.S., what do they think of us? With us worrying about this gender thing, this green thing, inflation crazy, all this nutty stuff, while what I'm seeing is other countries getting stronger and stronger and stronger while we're going the other way. The other countries that are similar to U.S., not, communists and so forth, what do you think, or how are they perceiving us now?
Well, I see you from the outside rather than the inside. When I come here, it's very different to what we see you from the other side. The rest of the world sees what was the world's greatest economy destroyed by an idiot. And that's how we see it. The rest of the world sees Biden as a complete idiot. There's nothing that he's done that's been constructive. The borders are open, the economy's gone to pieces. He shut down the pipeline with a completely fake bullshit story about a Green New Deal that doesn't exist. Anybody who's done any research, proper research, knows that the polar ice cap has got more ice on it this year than it's ever had in its history.
Ever.
And all of this global warming lie is complete bullshit. It doesn't exist. The world gets warmer and colder. That's how it is.
You could take a chimpanzee and just open up a book to a chimpanzee, and you can look back thousands of years.
Yep.
This is a constant thing that evolves. Is the gas adding to it? Probably a little bit, but what, a percentage?
No, less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
It's way less than 1% as well.
Yeah, I mean, how many ice ages that they tell you that we've had? We know of 3. I know Graham Hancock finally had gotten a bunch of data. Thank goodness Brazil didn't vote to take down the Amazon rainforest. But he thinks that civilization that built the pyramids were 100,000 years ago. Imagine that, 100,000 years ago. That's insane.
It is. It is. And the one thing that's very sad is that we don't know our real history because it's been hidden from us. And you can never, ever, like